Guys, wagwan, welcome back to another video. Today we will be doing a full set almond nails. So I already went in and we did a soak off earlier. That's why her nails are looking like that. So now I'm just going to come in and I'm going to prep using my cuticle bit, going around the cuticle area, making sure I get rid of all that excess cuticle. You want to make sure you get in your cuticles, that way you're going to prevent lifting. If you have a problem using your sanding band, you should definitely consider getting a cuticle bit, because this is going to help you to get close to the cuticle. Usually when I'm using my cuticle bit, my drill is at around a 10,000 RPMs, because the cuticle bit is very soft, it's very gentle, so it's not going to create like any friction that easily, and it doesn't cut the client unless you're putting like extreme pressure on it. So if you're struggling with prep or getting the sanding band in the cuticle, you should definitely consider getting a cuticle bit. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my fine sanding band, and I'm just going to go over the client's natural nails nice and light. I already did a prep, so for the most part the nail is already edged. So all I need to do is just come over lightly, making sure the surface is nice and clean and ready for the tip application. Whenever I am done prepping the nail, I always come in with my duster and I dust all the excess dust off. You never want to leave any excess dust on your client's nail. Now I'm gonna come in with my nipper. I never skip this step. I always make sure I clip my client's cuticle, because this is going to let your end result look so much better. And also, if you leave all that hanging cuticles, it can get in your way of your application. That cuticle bead, the excess cuticle can get in the way of it. So you always want to make sure you just come in with your nipper and give your client just a quick manicure if they have that excess cuticle. It's going to help you in the end. Whereas if you're doing like a polish, that excess cuticle is there, is going to get in the way of you getting the polish tucked all the way in the cuticle. So just take like the extra 5 seconds, 10 seconds to get that done. After I'm done with that, I'm gonna come in and I'm going to measure the tips, making sure they fit sidewall to sidewall. For this set, I'm going to be using my coffin tips. These coffin tips are available on my website. They're currently sold out, but as soon as I restart them, you'll be able to get these tips on my website. I highly recommend these tips. Whenever you're fitting the nail, you want to make sure it fits from side to side. If you have a tip that's too big or too small, go with the bigger tip, because you're going to be able to come in with your hand file and remove the excess. So go with the bigger tip. You never want to measure your tip and leave any extra room on the side. You need it to be covered from side to side, because that way you're going to have the full coverage. Full strength. I'm sorry. That way you're going to have the full strength. So you need the tip to fit from side to side, so your nail can have the full strength and it's not going to break easily. Whenever you use a tip that's too small, it sometimes pops back up when you glue it on. So you want to make sure that you're not using your tips that too small, because this can cause a problem and your client nail can break easily. So sometimes when you set your glue down, it hardens up at the tip, so you can just come in with your scissors and remove that. And I'm using the KDS glue. So I'm coming in. Usually I put the glue on the client's natural nail, and then I glue the tips down. So this nail is crooked. You never want to follow the direction in which the client's nail is going. You want to follow the direction of the client's knuckle, and that's the way you're going to be able to glue the tip straight. So that's the knuckle, and I just look at that and align it accordingly. I'm never going in the direction where the client's nail is going off to the side, because then you're literally just going to glue the nail crooked. You also want to make sure that the client's hand is completely relaxed, because this way you can see what direction the nail is really going in. So you see how the client's nail is going off to the side on this one, so I'm not following that direction. I'm going in the direction of the knuckle, and my client's hand is completely relaxed. Whenever their hand is like stiff, you have to tell them to relax, you know, constant or whatever you have to do, because that's the only way you're going to be able to see. Whenever you glue your tips, you want to make sure that the sides are completely secured and tightened. So now I'm coming in with my scissors, and I'm just going to cut to the client's desired length. And like I said before, I'm going to be doing a almond shaped nail. So I'm just going to come in with the coffin tips, then I'm going to cut them down to the desired length, and then I'm going to use my scissors to cut them in a coffin shape. Whenever I'm cutting, I always make sure I measure each finger side by side. That way, each nail is on the same length. How you measure side by side, you go from cuticle to cuticle. You align the cuticles together like that. That's how you know the length of the tip is exactly the same. Not up, not down, exactly side by side. Then after that, I'm gonna come in. Okay guys, if you have a tip cutter, you can also use your tip cutter too, but for me, I prefer to use a scissors. So it all depends on what you like. You can also, I see people use also like nail clippers and stuff like that. So now I'm coming in, and I'm just going to cut this nail in, you know, as close as possible, removing as much of the tip as possible, making sure I, you know, remember the shape that I'm doing is almond. So I'm just going to keep that in mind and just cut the excess tip off. And then I'm going to come in with my hand file and give it the final touch. So this is how you're going to be able to, you know, if you're not already using like almond shaped tips that's pre-shaped, you can always use this method. Come in with your scissors and cut the nail tip accordingly. You don't have to make sure this is exactly neat and tidy in this moment, because you're going to come in and you're going to be shaping the nail, and then you're going to do the application, then you're going to shape again. So when I'm doing this part, I just make sure that the nail is looking like pretty decent. I'm not doing it like a neat and fine. I don't do that. I just like make sure it looks good, and then I do my application, and then the more I get to the end, my shape is going to just get perfect. But I don't waste time in the beginning like doing too much neat and fining, because I also take in consideration that I'm going to apply, I'm going to drill, I'm going to do all that. You never want to eat the sides of your nail out. Whenever you're filing, you want to come off like, you want to start the file off to the side of the nail, not like down in the side wall, because you don't want to use a hand file to remove all the tip from the side walls. So you want to just make sure you're not using the hand file to eat the side walls out. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I'm saying. Don't use your file to remove all the tip from the side of the nail, because you're just going to take the strength away from the nail if you do that. So whenever I'm filing, I make sure I alternate from side to side, and I make sure my client's hand is completely relaxed. That way I can see what exactly I am shaping. I am using a 100/180 grit hand file to do this. These hand files are also available on my website. I will leave all the link to this product in the description box below, so you can definitely check that out. So after I'm done with that, I'm going to come in and I'm going to remove the ledge. That way I have a smooth application. You can do this with a drill, or you can do it with your hand file. But whenever you're doing it, just bear in mind that you can't stay one place too long, because then you might create friction on the client's natural nail. So try to make sure you're not when you're filing, you're not rubbing on the client's you're not filing the client's nail. You're just filing where the tip is, just to remove that extra ledge, so your application is going to be much smoother. Not everyone does this, but this is just a step that I practice, and I just do it because it doesn't hurt. Now I'm going to use this Sanitize prep. Basically, this is something I spray on the nail. I am testing it out. I will let you guys know how I love it. But basically what that does is it dehydrates the nail, and then you come in with the primer and then you prime the nail. So, you know, I've been testing this, so I'm going to see how it works for me, and I'm going to give you guys a update. So I'm putting one coat of the primer on. Also, I'm going to leave this link in the description box below. This Sanitize prep system is from Sincere. I think that's how she pronounces Sincere, or Sincere Lux. I think it's Sincere Lux collection. I'm going to leave the link in the description box. Today we're going to be using Coverage Nude to do our ombre. I use this nude a lot, like you can see, and I'm going to be using Coconut Milk White for my ombre as well. This Coconut Milk White is a part of the Island Vibes collection. Also, we are going to be using our monomer, also from 876 Nails. This is our 8-ounce EMA monomer, so if you haven't checked it out as yet, you can definitely go ahead and do so. How it sprays out, it's perfect. You will not have any leakage. So now we're going to come in, and I'm just going to make sure my brush is completely saturated. You always want to make sure you saturate your brush completely before you start working. So the first bead is gonna be this Coconut Milk White. I was supposed to be doing a ombre, like a marble ombre on this finger, but then I end up changing my mind in the end because I didn't really like how it was coming out with the coverage nude. So I just decided to go ahead and make it like just a regular ombre in the end. But as you can see, just now I was blending the back of the bead. Whenever you're doing an ombre, you want to make sure you blend that harsh line out, and that's how you're going to be able to make sure your ombre is nice and smooth. Now I'm coming in with my coverage nude, and I'm going to place that bead right in the cuticle, making sure I'm not removing too much of the product. That's by giving very light strokes, very light motion. You don't want to remove all the product you place on the nail, because then you're just going to be wasting your product, and you're just going to be repeating your steps over and over. So just try to make sure whenever you pick a bead up, you know how much you're picking up. Work with intention. Work like whenever you go in your monomer and you go in your powder, you're supposed to know exactly the size bead that you're going for. Now I'm coming in with this Mia Secret Clear acrylic, and I'm going to be just using this to encapsulate my ombre design. Whenever you do any type of design, any type of encapsulations, you always want to make sure you come in with your clear and encapsulate it. That way, whenever you come in to drill, you're not drilling directly on top of the design. So just remember, during your application, you never want to make the ombre already too thick, because then you need to leave space for your clear acrylic as well. So just bear that in mind whenever you do any type of encapsulated design. Now I'm coming in with my Coconut Milk White one more time. I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to go for a one bead method. Usually I do 2 beads, but I picked up enough powder to do a 1 bead. Whenever you're working with the cuticle, you'd never want to flood the cuticle. You want to make sure the acrylic is not flowing in the cuticle to a point where it's all over the client's skin or too much in the cuticle, because then you're going to have lifting. You want to always make sure you keep your sides clean. So make sure you keep wiping the side of your nail, looking at your nail from different angles as well. That way you can tell where you need to put more product. So don't just keep adding product. Look at the nail from the side, then you're going to see what's missing, what needs to be done, and you just apply accordingly. One more tip with that: whenever you keep applying the product, if you see that the problem, you're not fixing it, you're just applying more and more powder, you might need to stop and just leave it to when you come in with your hand file to file, then you can fix the problem. But don't just keep adding product, and sometimes you're creating more problem. So just be mindful. And like you can see, this nail also, I'm doing a ombre, just making sure the back of the white is blended. You always want to make sure that there's not a harsh line right there, because you're going to see it through your ombre. So make sure that line of the white or any color that you're doing is not like a harsh line you leave in the back, because it's going to show through. Now I'm coming in with these gold flakes, and I'm just gonna place these flakes on random places. And whenever you're doing like flakes or glitters, anything of that sort, you want to make sure you place it on the acrylic while the acrylic is already wet, or you have to put it on with clear, with just a little bit of clear. But you want to either put these foil down, like, you know, on like wet acrylic, or with a little bit of clear. That way it's going to stick better. So now I'm coming in one more time with my coverage nude. Place that bead right in the cuticle and blend it towards the white. You always want to make sure whenever you're doing a ombre, your bead is not too dry. So try to work on not like a runny side, but on the wetter side. That way your transition is going to be nice and smooth, and it's not going to have like those streaks and like obvious lines of the nude. So try to work on the wetter side. And then I did come in with my clear acrylic and I encapsulate my design. How you know when your design is entirely encapsulated? That's when you see the flakes or the glitters, they become matte. So they're going to be shiny when you put it down, but as soon as you put that clear over it, it's going to be matte. So for this pointer finger, I'm going to go for like more like of a marble look. So I can't tell you how to do a marble. A marble is something that you have to see how it's gonna come out basically. But what I know is, with the marble, use less of the brighter color. So the color that's going to stand out more, you want to pick up, you don't want to pick up too much of that color, because then it's going to overpower the other color. So let's say we're going to be doing a white, this white and clear ombre. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of white, but I'm going to do more clear because I want the clear to show as well. So whenever you're doing a marble, the brighter color, you don't want to get too much of that color. So that's one tip I'm gonna give you on doing a marble design. And of course, also with the marble, you have to come in and encapsulate that marble as well, because then when you drill, you don't want to drill all that design away. So every time you have to apply clear for your encapsulated designs or any marble, anything, you need the clear to protect your design. So on this finger, we're going to be doing another ombre nail. I place my first bead right where the tip and the natural nail meet. Blend the back of the bead, that way I don't have a harsh line. So my ombre is going to have a nice smooth transition. And this brush is my number 14. I think this one is a number 14 brush. And these brushes, they're available on my website. They're Kolinsky brushes. So if you're looking for a good brush, you can go ahead and check my brushes out. They are also in the nail kits as well. The nail kits come with 3 powders, I believe, and the brush and stickers, hand files, and stuff like that. So you can definitely check my nail kits out if you want to receive a brush as well. But they're also available for purchase separately. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Please make sure you're liking my video, guys. That's all I'm asking of you. And I also have a video coming out with how to pick up a bead liquid to powder ratio, so stay tuned for that. So a little backstory what happened to me. I did 2 voiceovers, guys. I did 2 voiceovers and I accidentally deleted my voiceovers. So like I just felt so discouraged like this week. And I'm like, I don't spend all this time editing these videos, doing voiceovers, all that stuff. And then the videos got deleted. As soon as I'm done voicing over, all I need to do is save the video and upload it. And the video got deleted. So I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm over it. But I'm like, let me get back on track, be positive. Everything happens for a reason. I have to be giving myself all that counseling and all that talking. You guys already know what time that is when you get down to like, okay, girl, maybe it got deleted because this would have happened, all that extra stuff. So I am back now, guys. I am back, and I have a lot of content coming this week. Let's say next week, yeah, because this week is over. Next week is going to be a full week of YouTube videos. So guys, get ready for it. Back to the nail, guys. I'm just shaping again with my 100 grit hand file. Whenever I'm doing a almond shape, guys, you have to alternate from side to side. That way you don't overfile one side of the nail. So make sure you're alternating. Make sure you're also filing the underside of the nail. If you don't file the underside of the nail, especially with almond, filing the underside of the nail makes a big difference. It just curves the shape on top. So beautiful. So you have to shave the underside of the nail, especially with the almond nail. You have to get underneath, because whenever you do that, you will start seeing a difference on top of the nail. Whenever you're shaping, also try not to use the hand file, and like when you're filing, you're going down in the sidewall and you're removing all the products. You're making the nail weak all over again, and your nail is not going to look good in the end. So just make sure you're not using the hand file to remove too much product from your sidewalls, from the sides. And with that said, I just want you guys to keep watching the video. And also with a almond shaped nail, you have to look at where the point of the nail is going. Usually with a coffin or a square, you're paying attention to your side walls, how your sides are looking, how the tip is looking. With a coffin, you have to pay attention to where the point of the almond is going. And that's how you're going to be able to get your almond to be pointing exactly straight to the tip. Because that's what I used to struggle with. That's what most people, that's what they struggle with. Having the almond pointing directly at the tip. That pointy part. That's the part that you have to try to get right with the almond nail, because you don't want the point to be off to the side. That's just not going to look right. So you want to make sure that you do that. And also you want to make sure you turn your client's hand from the client's view. That way you can see what they're seeing, and also that way you can see if you made any arrows. So if you make any arrows, this is the time to look for it. This is the time to fix them. And try not to rush the process. Take your time. Try to do your best work, because they say the shape will make or break your set, and that I know for a fact. You can do a good job, but if the shape is not right, the nail doesn't look the same. So just try to spend time getting your shape right, because then that's going to determine how everything turns out. So never skip this step of turning the client's hand, because that's how you're going to really be able to see where exactly everything is going and what the clients are seeing. Let me tell you guys something. Like, the sale of my Island Vibes collection was so good. I just want to take the time out in this video to thank each and every one of you who purchased the Island Vibes collection. So far, I've been getting a lot, tons of good reviews on this collection. So if you haven't got your Island Vibes collection as yet, make sure you go ahead and check that out. It has 10 colors, 8 bright colors, each of every color you can think of basically, and then you get a black and a white. So you definitely want to make sure you check that out. Get ready for your summertime, okay? Now I'm coming in with my medium drill bit, and this drill bit is from Pana. So I'm going to leave the link in the description box as well for this Pana drill bit. You can go ahead and check them out. I have it in the medium and I have it in the coarse. The coarse grit I use for whenever I'm doing soak offs, and then the medium grit I use for filing the nail, like what I'm doing right now. So those are the two bits that I get from Pana. Whenever you're filing, you want to make sure your pinky finger is always resting somewhere, either on your hand or on the client's hand, because that's going to help you to keep your drill stable. If you're right-handed, it means you should be going from the right to the left with your drill bit. Also want to make sure that whenever you're drilling, you're not keeping the drill in the same space for too long, because then your client nail is going to get hot. It's going to create, friction. It can damage the client's nail. Everything you're doing with the drill, you want to make sure you keep the drill moving. That way you're not burning your clients, or you're not damaging your client's natural nail. So whenever you're using a drill, you need to be moving consistent, making sure you're not staying in one spot for too long. Whenever you're drilling, you also want to make sure that you get the cuticles and the sidewalls. You have to make sure you seal the nail, that way no water can get underneath it. Your clients will not have lifting, because if you prep the nail right and you don't seal the nail, it's going to still come back down to you having lifting. So you want to make sure to prevent any lifting, you prep right, you seal the nail. Those are the two most important things. And your application has to be right too, because if you leave the product on top of the client's skin, not sealed properly, all that stuff, it comes right back down to lifting. So one more time, I'm coming in with my medium drill bit. Like I said, I'm going to leave all this in the description box below. The drill I'm using is a Melody Susie drill. It's like the color is black. I'm going to try to see if I can find it and leave it in the description as well. But this is a Melody Susie drill bit, and I've been using it for like a year and a half. It works perfectly fine. I already went through one, and honestly, I didn't have it for too long before the cord started to act up. But I did go ahead and I bought another one because I love it. It doesn't vibrate or none of that extra stuff, and this one is working fine. So if you're looking for a drill, you can check out the Melody Susie drill, and it's the black one. I'm definitely going to try to see if I find it in my Amazon purchases and leave the link in the description for you. This is the final results, guys. They are so beautiful. That's how the next hand look. I did do a different design on the ring finger. I kind of switch it up a little bit, but that's how it looks. And like you can see, I have like a Kiara Sky light, which I think most people have, so it works fine. I have this light maybe 3 years now, so I love it. It's perfect. And I'm out of top coat. What I do, guys, I have like the D&D top coat in the big bottle. I think that's like a 32 ounce, no, maybe like a 16 ounce. And then I just keep refilling my small bottle, and I'm using this like 16 ounce. Don't quote me on 16 ounce, I'm just guessing, but I think that's what it is. And I got that off of Amazon as well, so you can type that in and you're going to see that exact same bottle. It is super convenient. I just keep refilling and going. So I love it. You should try it too. You're going to absolutely love that idea. Instead of keep getting like singles in top coats, no, just get the big one and you can just keep refilling that. So now I'm coming in with my top coat just to put the final touch on it. Whenever I'm applying my top coat, I don't put too much, but at the same time, you don't want your top coat to be too thin, because then it's not going to give your nail like a perfect coverage. So you have to use your judgment. Don't let it, like, if you're putting too much, of course it's going to leak off to the side and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you're not using too much. And whenever I'm done, I just go ahead and I wipe the sides of the nail, because you know the top coat can leak to the side and then it's going to change the shape of your nail. So I don't do too much. I just come in lightly and just, you know, give it like a smooth touch and get rid of all that extraness that leaked off to the side. Like, look at that nail. That's so beautiful. Love, love, love. I love that ring finger, and I came up with that on the spot. I was like, let me just throw this one, make it clear, you know, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. And this is the final results, guys. Let me know in the comment section if you guys love this design. It's simple, classy. If your clients are going for like a simple look, you can definitely give this to them. You could do it in coffin, square, whatever shape you want. But I definitely think this look is like an easy go-to look if you want to give them something that, you know, that's gonna sparkle, but you know, doesn't take as much time. So I think you guys should try this design. Look at that almond, completely nice and neat. Make sure you guys like the video. Until next